I asked the public works people because I'm not a construction guy, so that's a good question.
What they say?
They don't know because you usually use equipment to do that. These people were using pickaxes and a small little wagon, which we'll give you pictures of. Yeah, this is truly a unique case here.
By sunrise, Minneapolis looks like it has been hit by artillery. 12 properties are burning across 4 counties. Federal armored trucks clog the exits from Cedar Isles, St. Paul, and Bloomington. 104 suspects in custody. 2 Somali immigration attorneys arrested inside their Lake of the Isles mansion at 4:11 a.m. Agents recover 3.2 tons of narcotics. Heroin, fentanyl, cocaine, methamphetamine. $21 million in cash. 8 encrypted hard drives. A map of the Twin Cities marked with 63 red circles. Beneath the attorney's house, a tunnel runs for 1,280 feet, lined with steel, lit by industrial LED lights, and wired into a system no one understands yet. The first analysts believe it's a smuggling route. The second realize it's a weapon. 4:03 a.m. Same mansion, 8 minutes earlier. The street is frozen, air -11 degrees. Visibility 20 meters. Snow dampened sound so completely that the first armored truck seems to appear out of nowhere. A convoy of 5 tactical vehicles halts without headlights. Each door opens at once. 40 agents fan out, boots crunching on ice. Keller, the FBI field commander, checks his timer. 4 minutes until synchronized breach. Across the city, 11 more teams are in identical positions, clocked to the same second. Over encrypted comms, he hears static, then confirmation. All stations green. Execute on count. No one mentions the interference spike on Channel 6. 4:05 a.m. Agents cut power to the grid section feeding the mansion. Lights die across 4 blocks. A single dog barks once, then silence. The breaching unit plants 4 thermite charges on the basement access and 2 at the front entrance. Pressure readings stabilize at 92 pounds per square inch. At -3 seconds, Morales' ICE tactical lead signals all clear. The detonations go off in unison. Low, heavy concussions that shove snow off rooftops. Wood splinters, stone cracks. Agents pour inside through dust and debris. Flashbangs bounce down corridors. The mansion becomes smoke and echo. Every floor camera records perfect execution. 4:06 a.m. Hallways cleared. 2 suspects found in the office, one attempting to destroy a hard drive with a desk lamp. Arrest team pins both to the floor. Thermal sensors read residual heat below the basement, aligned east to west. Morales tags it as probable wiring or radiant heating. Keller glances at the readings and moves on. He calls it routine. On the main feed, 12 raids show near identical progress. Command at the Federal Joint Operations Center marks secure across every target zone. Operators in the room cheer quietly, unaware that the same heat signature appears under half of the sites. 4:09 a.m. Basement team breaches the hidden cellar. Air temperature rises by 20 degrees. The wall collapses, revealing a steel shaft 6 feet wide, running straight down 15 feet, then bending toward the river. Lights flicker. A golf cart-sized transport vehicle sits idle at the bend. No one moves for 5 seconds. Morales descends first, rifle up. Her body cam shows condensation forming on the steel walls, movement of air, faint vibration underfoot. She reports possible generator noise. Command interprets it as ventilation fans. The noise builds into a rhythmic pulse, 7 seconds between beats. It matches no known machinery. Keller orders a full scan. 4:12 a.m. Above ground, Keller's communications lag half a second. He blames bandwidth from parallel raids. Seismic sensors at the university monitoring station record 3 low-frequency tremors centered under the mansion grid, amplitude 2.6. The data goes unnoticed for 12 minutes. In the basement, Morales' team advances 200 feet into the tunnel. The air smells of ozone and burnt plastic. The walls are sweating. The pulse quickens. Now, 5 seconds between hits. At 4:13 a.m., a distant metal impact echoes ahead, like a door closing. Morales reports possible fleeing suspects. She accelerates. Keller authorizes pursuit. 4:14 a.m. Federal Joint Operations Center. 40 screens. Analysts track simultaneous feeds from all sites. On screen 21, Bloomington feed cuts to black. 30 seconds later, Rochester feed drops. Command assumes network overload from data uploads. A technician reroutes through secondary satellites. Across the entire grid, sensors show synchronized power fluctuations at 60 Hz intervals. Analysts think suspects are wiping encrypted systems. They aren't. They're watching the first signals of a self-erasing infrastructure arming itself in silence. 4:15 a.m. Morales' tunnel cam shakes violently. Air pressure spikes, dropping her oxygen gauge to 70%. The pulse stops, replaced by a hiss. She stops moving. Ahead, 30 meters, 3 white lights drift like floating orbs. She reports visual contact. Unknown number of individuals. Keller orders advance. The lights withdraw fast, 50 meters in 5 seconds. Morales assumes running suspects. Her thermal scope shows moving shapes. She breaks into a run. Her second-in-command warns of heat surge on the walls. A faint hum builds to a growl. At 4:17 a.m., the tunnel floor vibrates, shaking loose frost from her rifle barrel. 4:18 a.m. Keller requests drone coverage. 2 rotary UAVs launch from the command convoy, climbing to 200 feet, thermal sensors active. 1 drone spots secondary tunnels under Kenwood Parkway, 2 miles north. Feed shows faint orange lines pulsing outward like veins. Analysts think the lines mark power conduits. They actually show detonator circuits charging. Morales hears a low rumble behind her. The tunnel lights blink twice, then flare white. She shouts for extraction. Keller orders immediate pullback. She gets only static in response. 4:20 a.m. Simultaneous seismic events at 12 locations. Frequency identical. 1.3 Hz. The tremors last 6 seconds. Basement video shows dust falling from ceilings, pipes shuddering. Command orders evacuation of all subterranean units, but comms are now delayed by 3.2 seconds. Enough for failure. Morales' team reverses direction, retreating toward the vertical shaft. They cover 40 meters before the first detonation hits. Pressure wave travels at 300 meters per second. Cameras catch the blast front. A solid wall of dirt and steel, folding like cloth. 4:22 a.m., street level. The mansion's windows burst outward, spraying glass across Lake Place. Keller and 3 agents are thrown off their feet. Dust erupts 20 meters high. Thermal drone feed whites out. The mansion's west wing sinks 30 centimeters in 4 seconds. Airborne particles register at 200 degrees Celsius. Keller calls Mayday across encrypted frequency, but 12 channels overlap, creating a single distorted signal. Command receives fragments. Collapse. Tunnel. Gone. They think he means enemy retreat. They mark the site contained. 4:24 a.m. citywide. Power grids begin failing in order. St. Paul blackens first, then Bloomington, then downtown. Street cameras capture orange light under asphalt, moving like waves. Traffic sensors go dark. Minneapolis police attempt radio contact with federal units. No response. Helicopter Eagle 5 from the Minnesota State Patrol climbs to 1,000 feet and films the first visible implosion. An entire block near Franklin Avenue folding downward in a perfect rectangle. Debris geysers 40 feet high. Within seconds, 3 more collapses follow north to the river. 4:28 a.m. DHS aircraft orbiting at 2,000 feet watches a straight line of explosions extend for 7 miles. Analysts in the Joint Operations Center finally correlate the pattern. The heat plumes trace the exact path of the newly discovered tunnels. A systems engineer recognizes frequency modulation consistent with demolition circuits. She calls out to halt ground operations. Too late. 11 more tunnels trigger in sequence. Pressure shock fronts travel faster than their own sound. 4:32 a.m. Keller and surviving agents regroup near the command vehicles. Snow turns to mud from heat. One Humvee burns at the curb. Radio chatter reports similar detonations at every raid site. On-screen maps blink red, one by one. By 4:35 a.m., all 12 targets are either burning or collapsed. Commanders issue evacuation orders to secondary units still underground, but most have already lost link. In St. Paul, an ICE team never surfaces. Air sensors mark methane spikes. Ignition risk extreme. 2 minutes later, an entire warehouse block detonates. 4:38 a.m. City emergency sirens finally activate. Fire crews attempt entry, but are blocked by debris. Communications to the National Guard routing center lag by 90 seconds. Power fails entirely in 3 districts. The Mississippi fills with dust clouds. Satellite imagery records heat plumes spreading along both riverbanks. Civil airspace closes. Inside command, Keller watches silent screens. Dozens of feeds frozen mid-frame. Timestamp 4:18:06. One analyst runs a cross-check on timing. Every detonation was synchronized to that second. They had all been armed since before the raid began. 4:45 a.m. Federal teams retreat from the blast radius. Snow now falling heavy. Visibility under 10 meters. Radiation levels normal, but particulate sensors show steel and concrete dust thick as fog. ICE transport trucks idle, waiting for evacuation orders. Radio chatter from a nearby block reports another sinkhole opening under Lake of the Isles Boulevard. The crater measures 20 meters across, 10 deep, still widening. Command instructs Keller to pull all personnel east to higher ground. He refuses until Morales' signal is confirmed lost. 4:52 a.m. Aerial surveillance from DHS Predator drone shows a grid pattern of collapses aligned north-south, each spaced exactly 200 meters. Analysts calculate deliberate engineering, controlled self-erasure. The mansion is now a pit of steam and twisted rebar. Thermal imaging shows no survivors below. Infrared still reads residual heat bands, forming concentric circles around the city center. They expand by the minute. Keller orders full retreat of all federal ground units. At 4:57 a.m., the drone's feed cuts abruptly, replaced by static and a bright flare before blackout. 5:02 a.m. Command transitions to backup facility in St. Cloud. Data review begins immediately. First decrypted hard drive from the mansion displays schematic overlays, blueprints of subterranean networks under 6 Midwestern cities, each annotated ground-fall core node. The agents in the room go silent. The realization spreads without words. The entire system was designed to collapse on detection. Every seizure, every arrest, every captured file served as a trigger. There's no central server to trace, no surviving evidence chain. 5:08 a.m. Fire crews enter Minneapolis proper. Temperatures on the ground reach 100 degrees Celsius at tunnel vents. Drone thermals detect carbon monoxide streaming from cracks along Hennepin Avenue. Civil engineers declare infrastructure instability across 12% of metro area. Overhead, National Guard UH-60 helicopters conduct aerial surveys, their FLIR pods scanning for heat or motion. They find neither. Just an underground map of voids expanding under the streets. 5:17 a.m. Command tallies losses. 43 agents injured, 9 missing, 1 confirmed dead. Collateral damage still unknown. Analysts cross-reference seismic data with time logs. The entire event, first blast to last, spanned 42 minutes. Keller stands in the command tent, coat covered in ash. His radio crackles faintly with a repeating transmission. A steady 5-second pulse, same frequency as the earlier tunnel beat. He listens. The pulse continues, unaffected by the shutdown. He orders the signal traced. It originates 40 miles north, under Anoka. 5:23 a.m. Satellite recon picks up fresh vibration signatures near Anoka's industrial district, amplitude increasing. The data matches the first pattern. Command scrambles another response team. Keller, still on scene, watches the sky flicker orange from the city's center. Every unit knows what's coming. There's no hesitation now, only movement. Vehicles accelerate north at 60 miles per hour, snow spraying behind them. The roads are cracked, but they go anyway. 5:29 a.m. Sensors at the university record new tremors. Magnitude 3.2. Distance 8 miles from Minneapolis core. Keller's convoy reaches Highway 169. Blue lights cutting through dawn fog. In the distance, smoke columns tilt in crosswinds. Over comms, St. Cloud analysts report identical heat spikes forming at Madison, Milwaukee, and Chicago freight zones. The network extends farther than thought. They realize the tunnels were not smuggling routes. They were power conduits feeding a continental-scale grid. The entire system is now disintegrating, one link at a time. 5:36 a.m. Keller's team halts 500 meters from the Anoka coordinates. A concrete warehouse stands intact, lights on. Snow falls steady, reflecting red from emergency strobes. He orders drones aloft. At 100 meters altitude, thermal imaging shows the ground glowing beneath the structure. Thick, circular, pulsing. He calls for evacuation radius 1 kilometer. Command hesitates. They want confirmation. Keller yells for everyone to move. Then the earth buckles, lifting the warehouse 20 feet before dropping it whole. The blast wave throws snow in every direction, flattening nearby trees. 5:43 a.m. Aerial footage from Eagle 6 helicopter shows a crater 600 feet wide, still venting steam. Seismic readings register 4.1. Command marks last detonation. Keller's radio goes silent for 20 seconds. Then static. He stands watching as dawn light filters through the ash. The tunnel system is gone. The evidence gone with it. Minneapolis smolders, broken into segments of frozen water and fire. 6:02 a.m. Satellite passes show the metro dark, except for emergency flares and scattered fires. The Mississippi reflects the glow like a cracked mirror. Analysts download remaining feeds and find every timer synchronized to the same initial signal. The first breach at 4:05 a.m. The network wasn't reacting to raids. It was waiting for them. Each door charge, each cut wire, each command acknowledgement was pre-coded as ignition input. The city's collapse was the program completing itself. 6:15 a.m. National Guard establishes perimeter 50 kilometers out. Radiation 0, but dust hazard extreme. Communications partially restored. Command logs final operational entry. Groundfall terminated. Evidence integrity. None. Keller reads the report and signs it. Above him, the sky is turning pale blue over black smoke columns. No one speaks. Thermal sensors continue to pick up faint residual heat. Regular, rhythmic, 5-second intervals, echoing beneath the ruined grid. The pulse never stops. It simply moves farther west.